Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec. I am super stoked today to invite you to our podcast launch party. So, if you haven't been to one of my podcast launch parties before, this is my second one, by the way. It's going to be super fun. For the next hour, I am going to be interviewing people who are launching their podcasts today. And there are some incredible podcasts today, like my new friend, Uwe. Hello, Uwe. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm fine. Thank you, Michelle, for having me. How are you doing?
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm super excited. So tell us about your new podcast and what it is, what it's called, all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, good. So I'm Uwe Darkon, and I'm known as a lifestyle liberator for in-demand professionals like medical professionals, executives.
Wait. There you go.
What
Sorry.
is going? Say?
Me, I'm screwing up. Go ahead.
Oh, good. So now I'm panorama view.
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. So as I was just saying, I help these in-demand professionals with a three-step 90-day experience to grow closer to their partner and help them feel valued, appreciated, and included while enjoying their weekends without experiencing anguishing arguments over and over. You see, it's hard to balance a professional high achiever job in healthcare or corporate with their spouse. The VIP, as I call them, they're very important partner who's equally dedicated and ambitious, just like them. So, and that's why I created a podcast for these high achievers, just like a campfire that you can come to and feel totally comfortable around and, just be part of a family. So, and what I do there is I will reveal key findings I discovered after having delivered over 15,000 one-on-one coaching sessions. For example, what if all the mindset techniques are only one half of the solution? And what if the other is under your nose already? So, this and more. You see, I've developed an easy, life-changing process where I coach both of them, but I don't coach them together. I coach them separately because it's the most effective way to say goodbye to divorce and start creating the relationship and life of their dreams. So we will go live every Tuesday and you will have a variety of help and support so you can get back to a feeling of control, freedom, and certainty. There will be interviews with high achievers and very important partners, just like you here. So we have panel discussions with medical professionals, executives, entrepreneurs. We have case studies from energizing relationships and something we call goosebumps hacking. You definitely don't want to miss that. AMAs ask me anything about the challenges of personal development in a relationship, and from time to time, I monologue. So you can lift off with energizing results. That's the name of the podcast. So, do we reveal where they have to go to? I can't hear
Nice. That
you.
is awesome. So, yes, I will absolutely put in the comments. For those of you who are watching, hopefully you can click on Michelle Nedelec on the top. I guess it's right-hand corner there above the comments so that we can see your comments because we are broadcasting in a few different places. I'm just going to put lift off with energizing results in the comments there. So hopefully you can see that. And that just got posted on YouTube. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get it posted onto
I have a tiny
Facebook.
URL also, if it helps.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Can you post that in
I
the
post.
comments there or
I just posted it here into the chat, but into
in the
the
chat?
private
Okay.
chat.
There we go.
You can pick it up
Oh, look
there.
at you with your pretty links. How fun is that? Hello, sand. Nope, not that. Just put it in the exact same spot.
Well done. It's the same.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Let's put it in the right spot. That works much better. Okay, let's see what's going on here because I don't see us on. It says I'm live on Facebook. So awesomeness. Let's go view that on Facebook just to make sure that everything is working the way I think it should be. Because I would hate to do an entire show and not have it working. All righty, we are good. Deirdre's here. Wonderful. We got people watching. Yay. Okay, we are golden. So awesome. Thank
Good.
you very much. Any last comments? I know I listened to your welcoming episode. It was fantastic. You've got an awesome story to tell, and I know I can't wait to hear more about it. So yeah, last words?
Last word. Well, I wish everyone energizing results to you and those around you that you love. So that's always my message.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on launching your podcast, and we wish you luck. Go and check out Yui's podcast on Lift Off with Energizing Results. It is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
one. Bye. And next up, I am going to just triple check that I am doing this right, and I am. Yay. Lana, are you ready? Come on in. How you doing, Lana?
Oh my God.
Yay.
I just got the flutterbugs. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Excellent. So tell us about your podcast. What do you talk about and all that kind of fun stuff?
It's hard to describe, and yet it's super easy to describe. The concept is, so I've been a health coach for a few years now, and I keep running into these individuals that have the most empowering, inspiring stories of healing, less prescription, more natural options. I'm a advocate for integrative medicine. I appreciate the Western medicine. I've had exposure to naturopaths and functional medicine. I've utilized chiropractors and massage therapists. I understand the basic concept of muscle testing, and all of this and many more modalities. Sorry. And it's the concept of wholeness. It's the concept of, how can I best describe it? It's somebody with a brain injury, and versus the prognosis of what it might be, or someone with MS. And via taking a very strong approach to their dietary changes, to maybe some other lifestyle changes, they're not in a wheelchair, but they're back up and walking and moving around and going for pedal bike rides. Brain injuries, Alzheimer's, where they're living more vibrant lives than what the prognosis suggested. It's individuals that are on high blood pressure medications, and they make the choice to change to artichoke supplement and omega-3. And they get off the statin, which tends to have a very strong arthritic type of side effect. And they're living more vibrant lives because they made that choice that they were going to take a herb, a supplement, a more natural form of drug, for lack of a better phrase, and live more vibrant lives. It's looking at things like, what might magnesium supplement do for your body? What might omega-3? What might the difference of iron do? It's knowing your body. And we don't have to be doctors. We don't have to be medicine gurus on this. We have to listen to our body and be willing to seek out answers. And that's what I want Empowering Health Journeys podcast to do, is to share with anybody that's willing to listen that you need to be an advocate for your own health. As business people, as people trying to run a life, have a life, then what is the cost if your health isn't relatively good or very good? Someone with MS that's diagnosed and they end up in a wheelchair. And it's not that that's awful, but what if a couple of supplement change? What if a couple of dietary changes gets you back up out of the wheelchair?
Nice.
There's no guarantees, but that light is what I'm trying to expose the rest of the world to, is that there are so many possibilities if we just open up our hearts and to our minds to the fact that that could be my possibility too. I think about it of what is the temperature difference between really, really, really hot water and boiling water? It's 1 degree. 1 degree. What if we make a 1 degree difference in our health and lifestyle choices?
Nice. So tell me, are you going to be talking on the podcast? Are you going to be training people, teaching people about different herbs and different kind of ailments and how they work? Are you going to be interviewing people? What's the format?
The format is predominantly interview based.
Mhm.
An example, but I do also provide education at times. So even within the launching of this podcast, one of my episodes is regarding the top 10 nutrient deficiencies in North America. So whether that's iron, iodine, magnesium, calcium, there's about 3 or 4 vitamin Bs, omega-3, and what some of those symptoms are, and what you might do, what foods you might add to it, what you might consider. I've got a woman that I interviewed that was Hashimoto's, and she now does what they call an AIP, autoimmune protocol, and she teaches individuals on that. So I'm interviewing about her journey.
Awesome. I'm going to have to cut you off.
Okay.
Awesome. Peeps, go and check out Lena's podcast. It is
Please.
awesome. And what's the name of your show again?
Empowering Health Journeys.
Nice. So go check it out. It is fantastic. And if
Thank
you're
you.
interested in more about how herbs can help you heal, go check it out.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks.
Thank-
Great one. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, Denise. You're up. How you doing?
Yay. Oh, it's awesome. It's a beautiful day.
Nice. Where are you calling in from?
I am in Florida,
Wonderful. Whereabouts?
right about where I-10 and I-75 meet, right there in that corner.
Nice. That's awesome. So tell us about your podcast. What do you got going on?
Well, the podcast is Debt Free Degree, and I'm telling parents that you don't have to do college with all this debt that we keep hearing about and have been hearing about for years. It's really a myth. If you want student debt, you can have it, but it's not a requirement. You almost have to want it. You almost have to desire it. In actuality, 30% of college students graduate debt-free every single year. And I was on a mission to figure out how to do that for my kids, and I did it for both of them. And now I'm on a mission to make that happen for other parents as well.
Nice. I love that. And you have an awesome and amazing podcast too. And do you have the link for yours? Because I didn't manage to snip it out of the files for you. So
I will definitely grab that really quickly.
Nice.
But yes, absolutely. I'm so excited about the opportunity to share this message with parents and families and students. College doesn't have to be a debt sentence. We are told over and over again that it is. We hear it especially during the political seasons, but it's not. You really have to want to pay full price. It's kind of like going into Nordstrom's versus going into Walmart. You know, the truth is the t-shirt fits the same regardless of which store you buy it from. So you just have to make that decision. You know, I mean, it's really all it is. And parents don't understand the difference, but that's the point of the podcast, is to explain all the different ways of not only getting into college and doing it debt free, but how to succeed in both high school and college. What does it take to get the college admissions process going and to make your child stand out in that process?
Nice. So are you doing an interview style? Are you training and educating? What's your format?
It's going to be a little bit of everything, actually. I really wanted families to get a big feel, not just for what I'm doing and what I've done for my kids, but what have other families done? And I'll have other experts online to explain their theories and their strategies for college essays and scholarships and scholarship essays, as well as taking the ACT and the SAT exams, and much more than that. And let's not forget stress. Students are under a lot of stress today. So I do have experts talking about that as well.
Nice. I love that. And God knows you have enough to talk about. I had stress back in the day and it wasn't even that hard.
True.
So awesome. Very cool. So do we have your link up on the podcast? If we don't, we will make
I
sure
have
that we get
just thrown it
that.
in the chat. Not sure if it showed
Oh,
up.
wonderful. That sounds awesome. I
It
will
says private,
capture
so I'm
that.
not sure if that's correct or not.
Yep, you are in the world of private. And we will get you out public. There you are. You launched. You're ready to go.
Yay. Unbelievable.
Congratulations. It's awesome.
Thank you. Really excited about it. Thank you so much.
Nice. Okay, you have a great one and good luck.
Thanks. You too.
Have fun. Bye. And next up, we have Dr. Sarah David in the house. How you doing?
Here. Hi, Michelle.
Hey.
How are you? Excited to be here. This is a great
I'm-
place to take my lunch break with you.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you could lunch break with us. You're looking fabulous. So tell us about your new podcast. What are you doing? What's it about?
Yes, I'm super, super excited about the Empowered Womenpreneurs podcast, and that I'm launching with all these other awesome podcastologists. And it's about women entrepreneurs and friends, where I'm actually sharing power moves, some business tips, and how they can monetize their brand. And I'll be doing insights from special guests to take their business, their career, their health, wealth, life, and legacy to queen status.
Ooh, like that. That sounds fantastic. I am just going to put your link in the chat there right now. So what made you come up with that idea for a podcast?
You know, it's interesting. It was an idea back in 2008, and it just kind of got pushed back, and I just kept thinking about it and thought, you know, this is the perfect time to be able to launch something like this, because many people are looking. So they're just looking to do different things. So I work with, sometimes they're high achieving professionals, and they're looking to monetize their degrees or their education and experience so that they can create their own digital empires. You know, with everything going on, people are being laid off and just looking for some other options. If a person may be a current entrepreneur or a solopreneur or service-based business or a small business, where they could be seasoned, but just want to bring on some tips and guests that will help them monetize their brand.
Wonderful. I love that, because I've talked to so many people who are so used to the traditional bricks and mortar that they don't realize how much knowledge they have, how much they have to share with everybody, how much people want it. And, you know, some of them, whether they're kind of professionals in their industry, are going, well, yeah, but I can't go against the association rules and things like that. It's like, there are so many other ways to do it. You got to get out of that box and that way of thinking. And I know talking to you will help them to get those epiphanies and those, you know, seeing things from another paradigm, because to me, swimming in the digital ocean is completely different than walking in the bricks and mortar offices. It's like, you got to get seasick, you got to get used to you're on water, and it's just a whole different way of thinking, feeling, and being. But once you get there, oh my God, it's fabulous.
Yes, it is. And it's just a great way to create some community around it, because many times we feel like we're all alone by ourselves. So.
Absolutely. And there's nothing worse than being alone. So what else would you like to say to peeps? Like, give us a bit of your background and how you got into this.
Well, my background is I'm an educator in higher education is my background. And I've always provided personal and professional development to others. And so this is just a way to be able to be a bigger resource to a lot more people. So super excited about just bringing my connections and super connections that I have to other people.
Nice. Love that. And your format, are you interviewing? Are you educating? A little bit of both?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm doing some actual coaching, and I'll be doing case studies, live case studies, and then educating, and then doing interviews. I just had an interview yesterday with a great person that's going to be on the show.
Wow, that's super fun. That is awesome. I love that. Hey, I'm going to bring back Uwe just for fun, and we're going to have a little chat here. And tell us what it was like launching your podcast. How did you get the idea to launch, and how was your experience?
The podcast, well, how the idea, it really goes back to I was launching an event called Lift Off with Energizing Results, and it's just a continuation of that. So because I was really trying to reach more people, but it's, you know, a launch, an event is kind of like, you know, it's always to the point. But then, you know, I really decided that it's better to have something more regularly, you know, where people can chime in, also creating this atmosphere of creating this campfire feeling, you know, coming around, listening to stories and listening to other guests that I will have on the podcast. So really, that excited me the most, and so that's essentially the reason why I started this.
Nice. And what about you, Dr. Sarah?
So the reason why I started and got involved with this is, again, just I just know how I felt and how I've been feeling, just like I'm in a silo. And when you work a full-time job and you're doing your passion work and doing a variety of different things, it's just really good to have a community of people that you can support and you be supported by.
Nice. I love that. And for those of you who don't know, like you said earlier, we are a part of a program with Turnkey Podcast, and they are doing multiple launches all at the same time. And we're super excited about it. It was for me, it was a very fun experience. Even the second time around, totally involved with it, loving everybody's artwork and their development of it and getting their ideas and going, oh my God, this is so awesome. Being able to work with a huge team of people all going, hey, make your font bigger. No, make your font bigger. No, make your font bigger. But hey, eventually we all learned and made our font bigger.
No, it was really fun. So big shout out to Doug and his team. So really great team.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And it was so fun reading, going through and listening to your podcast, both of you. And I loved giving the reviews. And Michelle, yours was the most fun review that I left.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. It is going to be an absolutely fun show. I posted my first 3 episodes after my welcome episode this morning, and we're good to go with that. For those of you who don't know, the Little Blue Pill for Business is launched. It's hard to say. Little Blue Pill for Business is launched.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, go check it out. It's a ton of fun, lots of tongue in cheek. Awesome. Any last parting words for our peeps, you two?
Good. So really, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sarah first.
I was going to say, it's just super exciting, and congratulations to everyone that's launching today.
Nice. Thanks. Anyway?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I also love your podcast, Michelle, and you, Sarah. So it's really exciting to be amongst you, and it's really an honor and a privilege. And I really love this program, and also, now being here, having a little podcast party to launch our podcast. It's so awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love it.
Michelle,
You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, cut you off. Sorry about that. You're more than welcome. Awesome. We have with us our next guest, Dia. Hello. How you doing?
Oh, how are you, Michelle?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks. So tell us who you are, what you do, what your podcast is titled, and all that fun stuff.
Fabulous. I'm happy to be here so we can celebrate together the launch of the podcast. So, I'm Mayleen Elke, and I started the podcast with a friend of mine who can't be here today, Denise Hansard, Moving to Oneness. And it is a mix of moments where we talk about topics with ourselves, amongst each other, and with others, thought leaders, or that do beautiful work in bringing maybe peace to this world, unity from all different aspects that make this world so unique, this humanity so unique.
Well, very fun. I love that. So is it a interview style podcast or a educational? What's the format?
It's a mix. And that's what we went out to. I had 6 years of a radio show where I spent an hour by myself bringing down spiritual cosmic wisdom and doing some songs and then taking questions and answering them and doing some healing on the show. So I didn't want to lose that, but I also wanted to start something new. So we made a mix. We said, let's be free. And that's
Nice.
very important, so that we can always do what we want to do. It shouldn't be something strict, something unscheduled, but so because we both believe to go with the flow and act on intuition, right? So sometimes we are together, us speaking. Sometimes I'm singular and she's singular, and other times I interview or she interviews, and sometimes we do it together. Yeah, and it's more of a conversation, and I don't want to call it an interview, even who comes amongst, because I believe, Michelle, and I know you think the same way, It is when people come together, we bring so much. And in that moment, something new can be created, new ideas arise. There is a recognition, right, that builds up on this relationship that is formed.
Beautiful. I love that.
Mhm.
So, when did you get the idea for the show? You've been doing the radio show.
Wow, a while back, I always wanted to do a podcast when it started, and then it just takes on. And then we came together, I met her maybe 3 years ago, and here and there, we didn't talk so often, but when we talked, we were very connected, Facebook connection. And then one of the conversations, we said we'll do like a monthly song show where we do toning or humming together just to raise up the vibration of people or in the planet if they feel like it. So then, but one day I said, we hadn't spoken, but I thought, why don't we just make a podcast out of it? And in the meantime, I had drawn a painting. And that painting, I have like a swoof with a golden dot. And that helped us create then the topic, right? Moving to oneness. It wasn't in our head. We knew what the big vision was, what we wanted to bring. And then this painting that I paint anyway, wisdom paintings, so you can think already, that brings out the idea even further and gave it some urgency and also materialized the vision. And then it took a half an hour to find the right music, and we started slow, step by step. But since a few days ago, I'm on Apple. Before we were just on YouTube, moving to oneness. We put them there so we can go in our flow.
That's beautiful. I love that. So that's the artwork for the show?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Very cool. I love it. And I love the diversity. I had to laugh because we were having so on my show, The Little Blue Pill for Business, we were actually talking about the manifestation of ideas and thoughts and how they transition. Obviously, it's a very different format than your show, but I think it's absolutely stunning how you bring these ideas to the forefront, and it's like a complete 180 from what I do, but it's still absolutely stunning, and I love it.
Yeah, and this is the fascinating part. We're so different, and really a big point of the show is to celebrate these differences we all carry, but in the base of us, we all move and strive for the same things. And we love to accentuate that. And then again, be a good example, because I believe we can't tell people. I have to be the example. I have to live it. Then it's very inspirational. If I talk about it, it's theory. It's not an experience that someone can say, oh, wow, if she can do it, I can do it, right? This is so important in getting us together. So it's important for everyone. What is your style? How do you love to work? And I think it's the perfect time today. Michelle, is a huge gate opening. There's like a lot of stars falling from the sky, like a meteorite shower, right, on the 18th today. So this is the moment is to say, do what you love to do, the way you love to do it, and don't let yourself be pressured into something that is not uniquely you.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it. So go check out Moving to Oneness. Congratulations on launching your podcast. It's now out in the world, and
thank you, Michelle.
All the success.
Yes, the best to you.
Have fun. And next up, we have Susie. Hello, Susie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine as I sucked you into the vortex without you even knowing about it.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell us what you're up to. What's the name of your podcast? What's it all about? Give us the good stuff.
So Happified is the podcast. It is about living life with less stress and more flow. So that is the focus. And without adding things to your to-do list or making it complicated, because those are some of the biggest complaints that I get when I'm working with people. It's really about getting right to the heart of the matter, getting the stuff that matters, the science, where the research is showing that we can make improvements on diet, activity, things that are going to make our health better over the long term, so that we can be on the right course for a healthier life rather than having to make an abrupt change, when we're in the thick of things and health starts to go haywire.
Wow, that's fantastic. I can't help but notice your background and go, wow, that is so organized. It's like, if nothing, it's a metaphor for everything that you bring to the show. So that's amazing.
Try to carve out a little balance where I can.
Nice. So what's the that's not your real background? That's like real room. Okay. I was gonna say, holy cracky.
No,
Now I'm
living
just
less
envious.
is having a clean like perception so that you can't see what's like outside the frame.
Love it. So what made you decide to come up with this show?
Well, I changed focus about 5 years ago when I was at that point, I was working with clients in their 80s and 90s, and they were along their journey having the health issues and really frustrated at what they weren't able to do anymore. Part of that is natural progression of life, but part of it is because, we didn't have the tools then or the knowledge then to make the changes in lifestyle that we could upriver. And selfishly, I recognized I didn't want to get to that point where I didn't have the options or, be able to do all the activity and the things that I wanted. So being part of Generation X, which is often kind of overlooked, now we're in the sandwich generation spot, I really got passionate about getting the message out and making it seem like I want living with less stress, because that's really the focus of my work, to be tangible and doable and not something that I'll figure it out when I have to, because it just tends to get put on the back burner for a little too long, I find.
I don't know if you can figure out how to get out of stress when you have to get out of stress. I've been a therapist long enough to know that's probably a little too late.
One of those catch-22s.
Yeah, exactly. We can work with you in that state, but it's much, much better to come ahead of time when it's, when you're still working on it. Awesome. So what's the format of your show? Is it interviews? Are you working through people's stuff? What are you doing?
It is primarily interviews. Yes. So I'm really connecting and sharing with my audience the people who are making big progress in these areas. So people in fitness and in nutrition. The first episode after my welcome episode is with a nutritionist who found out, and she didn't want to make the diet changes for herself. Her husband was experiencing diabetes, and she found when she transformed their diet, she took care of a battle with depression she'd been fighting for decades. So starting off with the big guns, but I really just want to bring these real life examples of how you can make little changes that add up to really big rewards. So primarily interviews. A couple of times I might go off on my own tangent, but I'll try to keep it interesting and bring more voices into the conversation.
Nice. I love that. It's so hugely important, especially right now. I think people are recognizing now, which I totally appreciate. Thank you, COVID, for helping people realize that mental health is a real thing and that everybody is affected by it. Like if you have a brain, you have mental health issues. And period, end of story, get over it. And now what are you going to do about it? And it brings us back to once upon a time, I think we had this kind of, I want to say sisterhood, but I think we had a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a familyhood, and everything. And people had places to go and talk. And even the farmers from Saskatchewan, as we say, they used to get up and go for coffee and shoot the shit in the coffee shops. And they had somebody to talk to bitch about and get your stuff over, and somebody else to pat you on the back and go, hey, good job on that. And off we go and let's go do our day. And I think it was missing for several decades, and I think COVID's brought it back and to light. So I'm loving your podcast. I think everybody should go and check it out. So go and check out Happified by Susie, and the links in thing. Awesome. Have a good one. Congratulations on launching your show.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Yeah, congrats on yours too. It's fantastic.
You do. Bye.
Thanks.
Next up, we have the incredible Susan. It's been so long. Here we go.
Hey,
how you doing?
How you be, Michelle?
Yeah, long time no see.
I know, right?
Those of you who don't know, I had the privilege of interviewing Susan on the show, and she was awesome. You got to go and check out that episode. But tell us about your podcast.
And you're going to be on my show very, very soon. So exciting. And congrats to you and me. Second podcast to all the first-time podcasters. What an explosive world we're living in right now, right? The mediums are crazy. Okay, so my show is called The Spiritually Expressed Human. And what's interesting is that it is not really about spirituality. It's mental health, and it's about really diving through and navigating this human experience that we all get trapped and caught up in because we're fucking human, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I swear here?
I don't know. It's Facebook. You allowed to swear on Facebook?
Sorry, Facebook. Whatever. So, all right, I'll tone it down. I'll be nice. I'll be cursing politically correct, as we say. So that's basically, so my show is basically to help people navigate, because as a licensed therapist over the last 24 years, man, I have seen countless people who struggle with all that past conditioning and all the, imposter syndrome and the thoughts in their head and all the inner critical voice that stops them as an entrepreneur in their relationships in their life. And I just had enough.
Nice. Totally get that.
Oh.
So tell me a bit about the show. What's the format of the show? Is it educational, interviewing? What do you have to
Oh, I don't know that I could be anything other than kind of like real and down to earth and conversational. It's weekly, right?
Even if it's only you in the room, you're still going to be down to earth and conversational.
Right?
Just
Totally. I mean,
my multiple personalities are going to pop out, and we're going to have a conversation in front of you.
Absolutely. Susan, what do you think of that? I don't know. What do you think of that? That's totally would be me, right? Not really. Yes,
Not really.
It would.
She's awesome. She's brilliant. You got to go and check out the show. Can't say enough.
Yeah, thank you so much, love. It's weekly. It will be some monologues where I'll be blabbering away, giving some strategies and tips and tools. Obviously, I've amassed a lot of insight into myself in my own personal development through 56 years of my life and with my clients over 24 years. So I want to share those in pieces and chunks. It'll be amazing guests like you and others who will come on and share their insights and wisdom on how they really stepped into a place of their full expression and whatever spirituality does or doesn't mean to them, because some people, are like super woo woo over here and some people are like super grounded. So it's everything in between. And sometimes it'll be on air coaching, where actually one of my first episodes in the launch today is someone who is a dear friend. We were catching up, just had a great convo. She said, "Oh my God, this is so good. Can we record this as a podcast episode?" So the next day we jumped on, we kept going. And now I repurposed it on my show. And part 2, we already did for my show, which will be out in a couple of weeks. So it'll be that kind of stuff to really help people dive in and see how these issues apply to them and what they can do about it to manage through.
Nice. I love it. So guys, if I haven't said it enough times, go and check out our show. It is The Spiritually Experienced. Is that what it is?
The Spiritually Expressed.
Expressed. Lovely. I love that. And the first time I realized I was a spirit in having a human experience, it pretty much altered everything about my life. So go ahead, check it out. You will love it. Guarantee it. Awesome. Thank you, Susan, for being here.
Thanks, Michelle, for having me. Love you. Have an awesome day, you and everybody.
Awesome. Bye.
Ciao.
Awesome. Next up is Julie. Julie's in the head.
All right. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for hosting this party for everyone.
Isn't that fun?
Oh,
I
my
just
goodness.
love these. I came back into it. I'm like, oh my God, I get to do this today. It's like totally having a party.
Thank you. And congrats to you. You are on your second podcast, I believe.
I am, and it's been super fun. So yeah, just did a bunch of marketing for it this morning and went, wow, I cross a lot of lines.
All right. That's always fun.
Exactly. So tell us about your show. What's the name about? What do you do? What are you talking about? All that kind of fun stuff.
It's called Course Creators HQ, and we are talking about all things online courses, helping experts figure out, okay, I want to get a course ready. And rather than making them spend hours and hours on blogs and YouTube and Google, we pulled together the best resources for you and put it into the podcast and help share the expertise on creation and on marketing, because a lot of folks will get started and they're like, yes, I've got the course created. Now what happens? Then you get thinking about marketing, and that's a whole nother mountain to climb. So we're going to try to tackle both of those issues throughout the episode. So we'll have folks who are just getting started, who want to know some of the beginnings. And then we'll have some folks who have been at it for a while and are looking at, how do I market this? Where do I get my message out? What are some of the best ways to get in front of my audience? So I'm really excited. It's going to be fun to chat with everyone and get some of these messages out.
Nice. I love that. And it's so true because a lot of people have the build it and they will come mentality. And it's like, no,
Not quite. I wish that would be nice.
I love that. That's not how it hangs anymore. Awesome. So how do people usually get a hold of you in the first place? Like, are people thinking, hey, I want to do a course, and then they go and find find you? Or are they usually kind of stumbling around, wasting time looking at Facebook and going, hey, I could write a course?
Well, it's
Do
actually
something
a lot
useful.
of referrals from partners and folks who are working with other folks who recognize, oh, I'm ready to do this course thing, and where can I go now to keep it simple? So we have a program that we help folks get done in about 24 hours with their first course. Yeah, it's not your big signature course, but it's just a course to get your feet wet. And so that's a great way to get people started and get people going. So
Nice. Well, we talk all the time about the ladder of ascension and making sure that you have those products in place. So, I mean, wherever you start is a good place to start. It's the best place to start. So start there.
jump
And
right.
absolutely. I mean, if you can get
Yeah.
people familiar with you and what you're doing and getting your voice out, I can't tell you how many, what do you call them? Courses, I guess, that we started off with 20 some odd years ago. And it's like, oh, wow, that's bad. I mean, there's some good content in it, but wow, I was not quite as savvy as I am now.
You get better with practice. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
sure you've
and
got a few of those stories too.
absolutely. And one thing I wanted to ask you, since you're a podcast veteran here and you've got lots of us that are launching today, do you have some suggestions for us on how to keep going and keep the momentum going? And what have you done to keep it fun and exciting?
Well, it has been so much fun. So one, I absolutely loved the launch with everybody and having like turnkey, being there, being able to go one step, because my idea or notion started about 3 years ago and nothing ever happened to it. And then Doug and Strickland came along and I'm like, yes, I'm in. This is totally going to happen right now. And then when I was doing that, then the little blue pill popped up and I went, going to swallow that one too. So we launched that one and it has been super fun. So one of my big goals is to get Jim Carrey on the show. So I've been talking about it to everybody going, oh my, I think it would be awesome. I think it'd be fun. He just wrote a book. I want to promote the book and get a bunch of JVs to help promote the show if we can get them out there. I think that would be super fun. So I think having higher aspirations for where I want the show to go has been super exciting and enticing to me.
To keep it going. Okay, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Well, and it is called a little blue pill for business, so I better know how to keep the excitement going in the bedroom for a while. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in real trouble.
Oh, I love it.
That is awesome. So tell us again the name of your show and where they can find it.
Course Creators HQ, and we're on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Hope you can join us. You can also go to coursecreatorshq.com/podcast, and I've got the episodes up there if you want to take a listen and see if it sounds interesting. So thank you so much for doing this today. This is
my
so
pleasure.
Fun.
Awesome. Have a great one, and congratulations for launching.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Awesome. We are moving and grooving here today. Paul, you are up next.
All right.
How you doing?
Doing great, Michelle. And thank you so much for providing this invite today on launch day. And I just love your podcast, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that.
Awesome. Thank you. We're getting a bunch of accolades from people that I never would have thought would have given me accolades.
I like it. I was like, just laughing and I was blushing, by the way.
Yay. I have that tendency.
All right. Well, I'll share a little bit about my podcast.
Yes, please.
Yes, Wealth Academy Podcast. And Wealth Academy Podcast is a show that talks about wealth. And most people, when they think about wealth, they think about dollars and cents. That is a part of it because we have our needs and we have our wants. However, my show talks about the wealth is more than just money. So I bring in other components of life, such as trying to coach people to understand, to have love in their life, compassion, relationships. People really work on strong personal relationship, work relationships, family relationship, parenting, and more. And so I do offer coaching in the areas of mindfulness, life coaching, spiritual consciousness coaching, as well as business success coaching. And I'm a motivational speaker, and I have done so for so many years. And this podcast has given me a platform to expound even more. And in the format of Wealth Academy podcast. I provide solo broadcasts as well as guest experts. I've already started interviewing guest experts, and that's coming along just great. And I really owe a lot of it to the fact that with COVID-19, people need more. So I'm trying to provide more, just like you have your podcast, you're providing a platform so people can come in, and where they otherwise not have the expertise, the knowledge, and the insight that you provide, that's the same thing that I do. And a lot of times when people are chasing money, they tend not to acquire it as much. And I had one relative who was worth $100 million. He went to the doctor all the time, but there was something he wasn't doing right, and ultimately he passed away. And so not even money could keep him alive. However, there are other things in life, taking the stress, anxiety away, resilience, and mental toughness, and some other areas. And I talk to people about that in my coaching programs, and I provide it. And people can learn more at www.wealthacademypodcast.com, or they can get me on the email at paul@wealthacademypodcast.com. And I'm also offering a free coaching session with people who sign up, and I'll work through one issue with them on a Zoom session to help them be able to manage and work things out where they otherwise may not know on their own.
Nice. That is fantastic. And I know you do some absolutely incredible work with people, because I mean, I know from my own experience, when people are chasing that almighty dollar, they tend to lose focus of important things in their life really quickly. And it's super sad. And I was even, back on the subject of Jim Carrey. I mean, he is always looking to the awards and going, yeah, but I'm not there yet, but I'm not there yet. And I'm like, at what point in life do people give themselves permission to just feel like, hey, I'm here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm on planet Earth. This is freaking awesome.
Yes. And I love Jim Carrey's story because he had in his wallet this piece of paper that said one day he wanted to earn $20 million a year. And it happened. And you got to love that passion and that purpose. And Jim Carrey did that. I know he's going to end up on your show, and I can't wait.
Love that. So you're at wealthacademy.com. I'm just putting that in the
yes, I have wealthacademypodcast.com. And with that, I will be providing a free coaching session on Zoom with someone who wants to work out one issue. It may be an issue about transitioning in the workforce right now, or it could be how to overcome anxiety and stress. And that's some of the coaching that I provide on the virtual platform as well.
I love it. Well, congratulations on getting your podcast launched. I'm super excited about listening to new episodes that are coming out, because I know you got some good stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Michelle. And thank you so much. Continued excellent. And know that I will be supporting you. Okay.
You're awesome. Thank you. Me too.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay.
And our next guest up is Erica. Hello.
Hey, Michelle. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yay.
So,
I am so excited.
Yay. Congratulations for being here. And thank you for being here. And tell us about your podcast. What do you do? What's the name?
Thank you. So my podcast is The Entrepreneur's Cafe. The subtitle is Creating Wealth from the Inside Out. So we could sort of piggyback a little bit on Paul, who is just here, although I'm looking at it from a little bit of a different angle. And what I hope to happen here in the cafe is almost exactly what you said with your guest before, Paul, which was we need a place to kind of hang out virtually and chit chat about the real stuff and talk out loud about the M word, the money word, and really what that means for us and what our blocks are around it. We all deal with it. And that's really kind of the essence of what we're going to be talking about in the cafe, wealth from the inside out. So I'm going to alternate weeks and times and talking about issues from the inside and issues on the outside. I'll tell you more about that when you ask me more questions.
Awesome. I'm totally looking forward to that. And I don't know if you were here earlier when we were talking about how important I think it is right now that people realize that they need to have somebody to talk to. They need to have somebody that they can relate to, that's in their posse, that, thinks the same way they do and they can relate to, and, get things off the chest and talk about them. And money is a huge issue, whether people realize it or not. I mean, I have a very different opinion of money than most people because I understand that it's just a little IOU for the value I see in the thing. But there's still that whole conversation about, what is real wealth? What is the perception of it? How do you create it? Who are you in the whole conversation of it? Like, where do you love talking about money?
Well, I am a board certified coach and an EFT expert. I have been in business as an entrepreneur for 30 years. I am very proud of my age and what I've accomplished and entrepreneuring for that long and what I've seen. As an EFT, emotional freedom technique, is all about, and it's based on, I don't want to go all into it, but based on a Chinese system of acupressure, but you lightly tap on points on the body while you're saying different things. What it's been shown to do, not only to help clear post-traumatic stress, but to clear our stress around money and finances. And one of the things I love to do is I love to push people up against their stuff. It's my thing, because where the rubber hits the road, if I said to you, okay, Michelle, don't say it out loud here, but say to yourself, I now make X, whatever that is for your business, whatever your goal is. And then I challenge you and say, okay, I want you to triple that amount. And then I want you to say, I easily make that 3X. Right there, you're going to come up against something. Something. I can never do that. That's impossible. It's going to be too hard. I'm going to have to work my ass off. Oops, sorry. Work my butt off.
It's only Facebook. We're all good.
There you go. Whatever it is, I'm more interested in the what came up, because those things are there even now while you're at whatever level you're at. So I'm going to alternate. Some weeks we'll be talking about and they're all, for me, 19 minutes or less, snippets about overcoming those blocks. Maybe I'll do some EFT tapping. Maybe I'll have on a wonderful psychologist I'm planning on having on, Rick Carson, who wrote a book called Taming Your Gremlin, and he'll help us work on the inner gremlins of our mind. And other weeks, I want to talk about the outside stuff, like when do you know it's time to incorporate? And I'll have on a guest whose specialty is that. And looking at the whole blend of the inner and the outer.
Nice. I love that. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to bring Paul back onto the stream here. Warning. You're there,
Hello.
so I'm bringing you back on.
Hey there, Paul.
Hey.
Yes,
we're the money folks.
Yes.
So yeah, let's talk money and podcasts. So
Fantastic.
like, what made you decide when to start a podcast? Let's start there, and let's start with Erica.
Okay.
This is an interesting thing, right? I've been thinking about this forever. And Julie Hood, who was one of your last guests, I've taken her courses in course creation. She's been a friend forever. And she said, I'm going to do this thing on podcasting. And I don't, you just trust yourself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it too. And I would say that day one, when Doug said, you guys are all going to go live on the 18th of August, I remember, talk about blocks. I remember thinking, OMG, that is never going to happen, but okay, I'll go along for the ride. And I just won't be able to pull it off by then. Talked myself out of it like day one. Are you kidding? So I busted myself and said, forget that nonsense. And then just made a decision to do this.
Made it happen. That is awesome. What about you, Paul?
Yes, thanks for asking, Michelle. And the thing that happened with me is I had been hosting an online radio show for several years. I have over 500 episodes of it. Wow. But of course, you don't have the visual with the radio. And so I wanted to take that extra step. I came in, I took a look at the Ultimate Podcast Launch Program, and it looked like a winner to me. Very user-friendly. And when I saw what it could do, I just said, this is it, Eureka. It's time to do this. And so I decided to come on and make that transition. And it's working out just great. I've already started interviewing guests. I hope to get Erica on there as well, and Michelle at some point. And of course, I did take courses from Julie, the 24-hour course creation. So we're amongst friends. But I had that inspiration to come in with this show And I see how it can make a tremendous difference in the lives of people. And as Erica was saying, when we start looking at the dollars and cents, a lot of times, if we look at just right now at COVID-19, health with wealth, health is the wealth, wellness is the wealth, and fitness and nutrition and sleep, that's the wealth now. And we combine that with the monetary, and we're on to something great.
Nice. I love that. Now
Actually,
I just
one
get
of
my
my
pot running again. Yep. Go ahead, Eric.
One of my favorite ways to do my signature on my emails is at the end, I put to your wealth and I spell it WELLTH.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have toyourwealth.com actually as a URL. I'm saving for something. I don't know, but no, actually I do have something there.
Beautiful. On that
I
note,
love that idea.
Our next guest is up. So thank you very much. Go and check out Erica and Paul's podcasts. They are brilliant, awesome, and ton of stuff around money there for you.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great day, Erica. Michelle.
You too, Paul.
Okay.
We have with us next the lovely and vivacious Victoria Vives. How you doing, baby?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you, Michelle? Thank you so much for organizing this. So much fun.
It is. It's been a blast. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you if you have your link to your podcast.
Of course I do. Of course.
I thought you might. So
I put it in the chat.
Excellent. For those of you who don't know, Victoria has the sassiest podcast coming out. I don't know if it's next to mine or more than mine. So tell us the name of your podcast, what it is, and what it's all about.
Yes, so my show is Divine Sexuality. So it's all about women who want to tap into their creative force that is sexuality. So this is all about really profound intimacy in relationships and even multi-orgasmic sex.
Who doesn't like orgasmic sex? I don't know. Nice.
Exactly.
So your link is in the comments. So what made you decide to do a podcast on divine sexuality?
Yes, I had a radio show for a full year.
And there's a bunch of guys that have had radio shows. That's crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, I had one and it was a lot of work because I always like to go in depth. And listeners were asking me, why don't you put it on Apple Podcast? And I'm like, what is that? Like, I had no idea. It was like 5 years ago. And finally, when I started listening podcasts and understanding, oh, wow, this is a whole revolution of information, I have to be there. And I'm enjoying it so much because it's like a very intimate connection with the listener. It's almost like we are friends. And I like that connection so much.
Nice. I love that. So tell us a bit about kind of what your background is and what you do and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yes, well, I have an interesting combination of things, as you already know.
I do, but I got a special in.
I know. So for 20 years, I work in entertainment, so martial artist, stunt woman, dancer, singer, all of that. So I have been in primetime television, 6 million views on YouTube, all of this goodness. And then I moved into, I had a near-death experience, actually, and all of that started changing my path. Yeah, I drowned in the ocean.
Really?
So I survived. Yes, I did. So I had an awakening after that and everything changed. So I started incorporating in 2000 healing in my life and I started giving sessions. And then finally in 2011, I opened my school for healing arts. So all kinds of healing. So finally after that, I realized, the most important is the sexuality aspect because in healing, sometimes we leave it to the side. It's almost like the taboo subject. And it's at the core of who we are as human beings. So because I work so much with women, I decided to just do this divine sexuality work for women. And that's the work that I'm doing now. Amazing results, amazing transformation for women. So in this podcast, my desire is for everybody to be able to learn what they can do to improve their lives. Because even though it's focused on women, I have actually a lot of guys listening just to understand their women more.
Oh, absolutely. And God knows that won't help trying to understand women until they start to understand them. And then like, no, really, I think ignorance is better.
Exactly.
I'm kidding, but not really. But I totally agree. And I think it's so important that people have the permission to be able to talk about it, because I think it's ridiculously shut down, especially in this century. I mean, I might have got it in the 1800s, but like, come on, people. It's not only one of your innate desires as a human being, it's the strongest innate desire that we have, and we have it for a reason. And trying to suppress it without trying to figure it out is insane to me. That I think that causes more trauma to more people in obvious ways and in unobvious ways. So not being able to express themselves fully, not being able to become kind of the entrepreneur or the author or the creative person that they were meant to be, because they have that aspect of them suppressed, and such a huge aspect of them.
Absolutely. That's our creative force, is our magnetism, is what keeps us alive on this earth. Otherwise, our population will not be there. So it's so essential, but it's so distorted because it is a taboo subject. So then it starts becoming weird. If we see nature, all animals are free for, in sexuality, and they have no problem. But because of all our conditioning, like I go on Facebook and maybe I wanted to create my group for women, which you guys, girls, can join anytime. So I wanted to call it Divine Sexuality, but it's censored.
Yeah.
I cannot call it Divine Sexuality.
Which it seems absolutely insane. And I don't think anybody would have believed 10 years ago how strong censorship would be right now, because 10 years ago we were fighting it in the news and everything else. And it's like, well, I have a right. I can talk about whatever I want. Yay, Facebook came out. We can finally talk about whatever we want with whoever we want. And then they're like, no, you can't actually, because, you're not strong enough, competent, capable enough to be able to handle conversations about sex.
Yes, and there is a lot of things about sexuality. So in my work with Divine Sexuality, it's not just sex. It is also gender-related issues. And we all women, have sometimes body shame, or we have insecurity about how our body works, relationships with men, many aspects that are part of our sexuality, not just sex. So it shouldn't be a taboo subject.
Well, yeah, and you bring up one great subject. I mean, I can't tell you how frustrated I was as a kid growing up about body image and things like that. And I think I was probably about 30 years old before I realized that there's like 5 different women body types and like 2 different guy body types. Like, guys go to the store and buy a pair of jeans and it's like, yeah, they're the right size, the right length, they fit, right? All guys' clothes are, this is your waist and this is your inseam. Right. But women's clothes aren't made that way. And it drove me nuts. We don't have pockets. We don't have this. We don't have that. And it doesn't say on there, this is built for an apple shaped body. This is built for a banana shaped body. And had they done that, I mean, it would have been so much easier to just go, oh, hey, I need to go and find a banana shop and I'll fit everything that's in there and I'll feel good about myself because I know that, the width, the length, it fits. Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know to what extent that suppression happens or why that happens, but
it's just a lot of conditioning. The 20 years I've been working in entertainment, I mean, my world was all supermodels, right? Like I was surrounded by not the average woman. So it took me a while to understand, what we are putting in the media has nothing to do with the world. Who has decided that this is beauty? Who has decided that this should be shown and the rest not? So this creates an idea that is just not true. And the same happens with love relationships. We see in the movies, these ideas, and even fairy tales, magazines. So we try to live something that is not in real life. So I'm bridging that gap and working with women and sharing and having this conversation so that we can have a happy life and accept, what we are seeing here is not necessarily the truth. And it's not necessarily the ideal. There is a lot of diversity, and that's the richness of who we are.
Nice. I love that. Love it. So go and check out Victoria's podcast, which of course is Divine Sexuality, and it is going to be awesome and amazing. So thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it immensely. I'm glad you got a chance to pop in. We are officially done our show. Mr. Jack is not showing up, and somebody booked for way later in the day that I'm not doing because I'm back to back. So awesome. Congratulations on booking your podcast. Super excited. Please go and check out the podcasts in the chat box and go and rate and review the shows. We love it. It gives us a little bit of a boost. You'll love it. There's some super fun and entertaining things there. So Thank you again, Victoria and Paul.
Thank
You're still
you.
in the background. And you guys have an awesome day, and we will see you on the flip side.